Hello, so this is the video, just I'm reviewing uh, the code that I did today, and the purpose of this video is to improve my explanation skills and my English. It's not like tutorials, I'm not that good yet. And by reviewing, the contents will stay on my head better, so I'm doing this, and I'm taking this video. So today I did review of this HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So I'll go over them. So what I'm doing here on this one, uh, I'm taking header and also data cells. So header, what I mean by here is like header is property name and data cells are property values. So on this one, I'm taking property name and this one's taking property values and then not printing, like displaying on the alert. So on the top, like a pop-up thing, and showing data links. So I'll explain the process of what I'm taking. So this is where the thing start. So it's calling header cells data zero. So data zero means it's getting data of the first one. So this is going to be imported here, import used. This first one is going to be used here, and then let str equal tr. So this is for alert, it's just gonna be displayed as letters, but if you use the like inner HTML, it's gonna be shown as like table raw. So for this one, it's using for in loop. So it's gonna go, this X is going to go over um, raw, which is this one. And str is tr now, and this is the header, table header. And then this X is taking only property name. If you use raw X, it means it's taking property values. But if you use only X, then it's only taking property names on the left side. This. So it's going to display ID, question, user ID, date. And for data cells, data one, so taking this one. Then since it's displaying raw X, it's going to display property values. So the result there is gonna show two, how big is the universe, 16, and this. I'm gonna test it. So first it's showing ID, question, user ID, date. The next line is going to show two, how big is universe, 16, this one. Yeah. And then showing data length, which is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's go with this one. Um, okay, so basically what it's doing, I'm going to show what it's going to do first. When I click copy, what's happening? Um, yeah. So when I press it, it's going to show up, and then when I press again, then it's going to disappear. So what's happening here is div content interesting. So first it's making button click me, okay? And then it's also creating div and this word inside div and then image. And then you are defining the ID as contents. And you're calling that contents here. No, here. I'm gonna explain this one first. So I define display true to use this as the um because it's going to be useful with if and else statement. I'll explain why. And this one, it's showing, no, it's when you click, just add event listener, and when you click, then this is going to happen. And what's going to happen is, so if display is true, so when there's like image and also the words interesting, this is true. So document get element by content style display none. So one image and word is shown there when you click the button of clicking ID. So this button, and then the display style is going to be none, which means like there's nothing other than click. And when there's none, the state of display become false, which means there's no contents. And else document get element by ID contents style display block. So when display is false, then this is going to be call. So when it's false, mean when there's no contents, it's going to be called. And then this contents become block, which is means like display as normal. And then turn this display state as true, so that when you click again, this one is going to be called and then become none. So that's what it's doing here. And trial 7.2. Um, this was, I learned a new thing here. So this was the practice of the position. Um, so first I made div, and inside div I made list, and inside this list I made another list, and it's those three things. And I made this ID as menu head so that I can edit on JavaScript. I mean CSS. Uh, so this is where I start editing this. So list style none get rid of the dot on the left. And this is pretty basic thing. Okay, position relative. Uh, so parent is the page itself. It means like this position is decided depends on the place of this. I mean, see, it just depends on the page itself. So if you made margin 40px, margin left 40px pixel, then it makes space on the left side of 40 pixels uh, from the page left side. Yeah. And so this is when you hover. Okay, this is something I learned. So by using this one, it means inside this menu head element. So this list element, you're using another list. So you can edit this one in CSS. You don't need to make ID for each one because it's inside this ID, this list. And absolute positioning. This absolute position depends on the parent place. So this is the parent because this menu head is list, which is the parent for an ordered list. Absolute depends on the parent place, and top 100% is that it's just placed right below the parent. So if you made it like 50%, it's going to place in the middle of in the middle side of that parent, like that. Oh, sorry. Uh, yes, that was absolute. And this one, this menu head and another list, and inside that another list, it has list and hover. Background color, green. So it's using um list because it's this parent is under the list. And hover, so when you hover, it turns green. Uh, I want to go over. Did I explain this one? Yeah, I think I did. So this one is when you click the button, it shows table. So I'm going to explain this. Okay. Where should I start? The key things here is we haven't learned the this JSON and also like this thing. So I want to go over just JavaScript part. So data, it has object inside already, which got it from this one, I guess. This PHP thing. And so first it's making table. So this str become table. And let header display data. So data let str to making table raw and for let x in data 0, which means if you state x here, then it's going to call uh, uh, this x. This is the header, right? So I think it's just going to call like data 0, which means the first part of the two-dimensional array. Um, so it's just print. It just stores the first top. values inside str, and it's going to be the header, and then returning str and add it inside header. For contents, it's going to just use this function, and then I'm using for loop here to go through every element, every array, every object inside data. Then I'm calling a for loop again to uh, store the contents inside str. And data y means so for the first loop, it points the first array. Y is also pointing the first one for the first loop. So it's going to point out the very first array of the first value. And that value is going to be stored in this table data. And then once it's done, it's going to take the second value of the first array and then store that value and just repeat the same process. Then after go over the first array, that loop is going to end and then store that value inside. It's stored inside the str and then finish the table row and then go to the next row and then store the values again and then end the table row and make another one until the end of the options. Then once it finishes all, then return str and then store those value inside contents and then combine them inside table, then make the table. Then displaying that value to the page. And this is going to happen. So yeah, that's what I learned today. I don't know whether I could explain well these one. I think I'm understanding how to make them, but probably not the best explain. I'm not good at explaining yet. Yeah. So that was it for today.